Hi everyone, happy Sunday. I want to talk to you real quick about therapy dolls and show you a couple that I made. I am a freelance artist. I happen to be an accidental reborn artist and I love it. It's super fun. And in the course of learning about these babies and painting these babies, I've met some very interesting and some very cool people. I am mostly making therapy dolls for kids on the spectrum. I do make them for people with anxiety and people with PTSD, or people who are dealing with memory loss, loneliness, and adults on the spectrum. And it started off kind of word of mouth. I love doing it. The difference between, for me, and this might be different for other people who make them, but for me, a therapy doll is a baby that's weighted. As heavy as I can weight it. It usually doesn't have vinyl limbs. It's a cuddle baby. I always do an asleep baby with a serene face. Never a crying baby, a baby with expression, a baby with open eyes. The baby needs to be as calm and as peaceful as I can make it. I don't do a lot of the super hyper realism just because it's not necessary. I don't root hair because I don't want this baby to have any maintenance, and I don't want there to be issues with texture or things that maybe would bother somebody or make them uncomfortable. I do paint hair on most of them. Sometimes I leave them bald. My goal isn't to make a more affordable reborn. I'll leave that to other people who want to do that. My goal is to make a baby that will help somebody feel calm, comfortable, relaxed, and help them release some of those chemicals and hormones in their bodies that help that happen naturally. And I do believe, and a lot of people believe, that this can happen through these babies. In the past, I was using that kind of traditional cuddle baby body. It had arms and legs, but they were cloth. It was almost like a teddy bear. However, they're a drag to put together. And the people that I make them for don't necessarily need the arms and legs. They're not into collecting clothes. They're not dressing babies. One day I was thinking how that a weighted blanket works. I know that a weighted pillow works. I know that a weighted baby with a very serene face works even better. So I decided to combine all of those things, and I've been making these babies for a little bit, and I haven't talked about that. Or the other week I decided I was going to make some really cute little fantasy babies, and I thought I'm going to put them in these bodies that I use for therapy. I was a little ambivalent about it, but I decided to just kind of leap and wait for the net to appear and let's see what happens. But I did want to make a video to explain it first. I'm kind of getting more familiar with how this community works, and if you leave too much room for people to guess or to question, sometimes that empty pot gets filled up with a bunch of silly things that maybe aren't true or that maybe can turn into something else. So let me be upfront and show you what I'm talking about. Especially kids on the spectrum love things that are weighted. They love calm faces. Actually, they prefer no head at all, but you know, even if you're on the spectrum, you have to live in a world with people and you have to learn to get used to humans. And this is one step closer to that. And I'm simplifying. For those of you who are on the spectrum or have children who are on the spectrum, you know more about this. I am not a therapist, and I don't have a child on the spectrum. So I think I'll leave that to the professionals, to the moms out there. So if you meet a mom with a kid on the spectrum, ask them lots of questions. You know, it's better to ask questions than it is to make assumptions, always. If you were watching the last couple videos, you saw that I was making these little fantasy baby heads. Now, this is not a baby I would make for a child on the spectrum. This is really busy and it might not be comforting. I'm making this for somebody who just might enjoy having a fantasy baby, and it's a fun way to introduce this body. So now, some people might not like it, and if you don't, that's okay too. So this here is a therapy body, and I created it using a very simple template that I made. I tried maybe 6 different designs, and this is the one that seems to work. Maggie's about a 20-inch baby, and so I have templates that are for 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-inch babies. And so this is the right size for her. It's made out of a nice fleece. I tried using Minky and it was too stretchy. So this is a nice tight fleece. Means it's got a little bit of give but not too much. It's filled with glass beads and it's filled heavy, pretty heavy and the heads are pretty heavy. It's always kind of warm. Fleece keeps you just a little bit warm. And so you might be thinking, well, heck, that's a pillow with a head on it. You know, it sort of is. It sort of is. And I think the trick is really in how you weight it. I weighted these babies a little bit differently than I would weight a therapy doll, just because I wanted them to swaddle and feel a little bit more realistic. Now, the great thing about this baby is swaddle blanket. You can change that to match the season, to match your mood, just to take it off, to wash it. Now the downside is you can't get these babies dressed. They don't have bodies to get dressed. So if you're in this hobby for buying baby clothes and doing all that fun stuff, this probably would not be the baby for you. Now, these babies swaddle up really cozy. This is the baby. And I called them Cocoon babies, but a forum friend of mine said, oh, they're Cocoon Comfort dolls. And I thought, that's beautiful. So that is kind of what I've taken to calling them. But here's this guy. A lot of you have seen him on Instagram, and he is pretty darn cute. The funny thing is his sculpt isn't overly adorable, but there's just something about him with horns. And let me show you this. Look at how squishy. This is super squishy, but it's also super heavy. You kind of have to be creative about how you fill it up. I think the secret's in getting that filled nicely and weighted well. Let me get him all swaddled. Sure, isn't he adorable? I mean, if alternatives are not your thing, it might not be sweet to you, but he's definitely sweet to me. Let me pull off his hat so you can see his little head of hair. These are kind of my little enchanted forest creatures. Oh. He's got these really sky blue eyes, long eyelashes, and all of these babies have been magnetized. About my first baby with albinism, very pale, just this powdery skin with pink undertones and lavender undertones, and his little fleece hat. I love these pixie hats, soft white hair. Look at that. Isn't he precious? I don't know what it is about that baby's face. This is the daisy sculpt, and I think it was just perfect for this doll. Let me put that hat back on. Most of them have hats just because my theme was woodland creatures, and I thought those little pixie hats were perfect. This is my mer baby. Not all babies have the same bodies. Now this isn't minky. It's similar, but it's not as stretchy. And obviously I did it green because this is supposed to be a little mermaid baby. Little seashell back here. Isn't that sweet? Let me pop off this bonnet real quick. So this baby has just a teeny tuft, lavender and pink hair. And in case you haven't seen the other video, there's all this wonderful veining and modeling back here in greens and blues and pinks. I just love the way those bodies feel. Here's another little teeny one. Sweetness. Again, all the babies have magnets and passies. This is Miles, the sculpt Miles. Let me pull off this little cap. This little cap has little rosettes on it. And I'll show you this body because it's super teeny. There's his little body. It's a little bit wider, a little bit shorter. I think if you're a parent of a kid on the spectrum and you're looking for a comfort toy, you're probably looking for something a little different than maybe what someone else is looking for their 10-year-old daughter to comb hair and play pretend with or collect. If you've caught the other videos, you've already seen these babies and you've seen their faces, but heck, I don't mind showing off. I really like these. They were so much fun. And she has a little blue fleece bonnet with little pink rosettes, her little eyelashes, just pretty little hazel eyes. And I don't know if I need to unwrap her. She's a 19-inch, so her body's, you know, the 19-inch size. Nice white fleece, super, super soft. She's a bit on the heavy side. Again, I make them as heavy as I can. And if I were asked to make one for somebody in a memory home, which honestly I think I've only made one for a memory home. Usually if I'm making something for a memory home, it will be a regular baby or a cuddle baby. And I mean for therapy. And I don't do custom babies for therapy babies. I just make them, and when somebody asks about them, I show them what I have, but I do listen to feedback. And if it is going to a memory home and someone says, you know, she's 90 and that's a bit heavy, can you lighten it up a little bit? I have no problem doing that. Here's this little fairy bundle. I'm not going to undress her. Her body's about the same size as the last baby. And here is her little pixie cap with her little pom-poms. She's pretty cute. She has a lot of pink. A lot of pink. Maybe I'll take her bonnet off and get you one more look at her face. And she has a cream colored body. I know that everyone loves mohair, and there's something about it that is so pretty, but it sure is a lot of work. But it does add that little bit of realism. And this baby has some pink and some lavender highlights that are really pretty. But there she is. Just tiny little white freckles. And that's it. Sent me, and all I kept thinking was, oh my, I do not want anybody making a video saying, I bought a reborn doll and they forgot to give me arms and legs. So now you know. There never were any arms and legs, and that's on purpose. These blankets have so many of these little itty bitty plastic tabs. So they're awesome. I love them. Hope you do too. I'm gonna get them photographed and put on Etsy this week. So if you have Instagram, make sure you go over to Instagram and take a look. That way you know when they're coming. And if you sign up for notifications, I'm not even sure how to do it. I think it'll kind of give you a little message that says St. Cloud Nursery posted some photos, and that way you'll know that they're coming. And I will let everybody know that I'm about to list so they can get on over there if they're waiting for that baby. Have a super great day, everyone, and we will see you next time.